You probably have some old paintings or drawings laying around your studio that you absolutely hate or you're tempted to throw away. Don't do that. Don't worry. Today, I'm going to show you a work that I found that I didn't particularly like, but I think we can bring some new life into it. So let's begin. Let's get started. And we're going to use some unconventional materials to make this happen. All right, so let me show you what we're going to work on today. I found this piece laying around. I was cleaning up my studio and I just happened to come across this. And I got a bunch of these drawings just like laying around and I didn't particularly like it. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I can do something with it. I don't know. I think this part bothers me, but I do like the contrast and the bold black line. So we're going to use this as a base for an expressive collage. And we're going to use some unconventional materials to do this. I have old tissues, some napkins, some paper towels, maybe some printed paper. We're going to make this into something totally new. And I'm going to show you the process of how I can do it and how you can do it as well. So let's get started and let's begin. First things first, we have our drawing, which is done with like black paint on like construction paper. This is our support that we're going to use. I love these canvas boards. They're very cheap and very durable. So we're going to use this canvas board. I painted it gray because there was another painting that I didn't particularly like. There are some texture marks over here that I think is going to be useful for our piece today. Also, this is used tissue paper. I did a video showing how you can use bleeding tissue paper to make cool designs, like a watercolor effect. And if you crumple it up, you get these nice like white streaks on your paper. So we're going to use the used up dry paper because there's still color in here and there's beautiful designs within it. So we'll use this tissue paper as part of the design. Also some napkins or paper towels. Sometimes paper towels have these nice designs within them, and I think it may be useful for our drawing today. So first thing we're going to do is to cut this out. I'm just going to cut out the parts that I like, which is going around the outer edge. I'm not going to use the hair. All right. The other thing I forgot to mention, we're going to use gel medium, which is my go-to. You can also use regular Elmer's glue as well. So we have our cutout. What we're going to do is we're going to glue this down to the board. We'll let that dry. We'll come back. Then we'll figure out our next step. Let's figure out where we're going to position the main piece. I think right here makes sense. So I'm just going to take a white oil pastel, or you could take a crayon, and I'm going to lightly draw around the edge of the piece. Doesn't have to be perfect. This is just going to be a guideline where I'm going to put the glue. We're going to take our gel medium and generously apply to the surface in the area that we marked out. Now remember, if you're working on a canvas, you probably have a lot of texture to the surface. So just make sure that you're applying the gel medium generously so that it can get in all the nooks and crannies. Had I applied it to the back of this piece, it'll probably buckle up, and I think it'll be easier just to apply it right to the surface. Smooth it out. And as I said before in other videos, Gel medium is very durable and it's flexible. When it dries clear. You will see a little film, but it dries very clear and you can paint right over it. I'm going to roll this out with a brayer. Get all those little air pockets out of there. Make sure it's nice and flat on the surface. We're going to let this dry. We're going to come back and then we're going to start applying some of the tissue and some of the other materials on the top to kind of start molding everything out. So let's take a break and we'll be back. Back from our break and everything is looking good. The one thing that I did forget to mention is that you're going to need some tracing paper. I usually buy this stuff in the rolls. It's going to make this process go along much faster. And what we're going to do is we're going to trace blocks and shapes in the face so that we can cut out our colors much more quickly. So if you can't use tracing paper, you can definitely eyeball it, but I definitely suggest that you use it. So let's get started and let's begin. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut out a piece of tracing paper. Oop. And it doesn't have to be that big. Let's cut this in half to make it more manageable. All right, let's put this to the side. Let's get a marker and we're going to start with the nose and this forehead shaped area right here. So we'll start with those two areas first. And I think what we'll do is we'll use this tissue paper. And basically, with my scissors, let's cut off this area so it's nice and manageable. We're going to take some spray adhesive, also known as spray mount. Give it a light, very light spray, and let's stick it to an area that's interesting. Oh, not too much, just enough so you get a little bit tack on the back. Let's go here. First, let's flatten this out. Let's okay. Doesn't have to be perfect, but try to get as close as you can. Now, this process is kind of time consuming, so just take your time, enjoy the process. It's actually very relaxing, and I really get into it. So, you're the type of person that loves to watch paint dry, fish swimming around slowly in an aquarium. This is for you. Normally, I would cut out a bunch of my areas all at once, but for this video's sake, I want to show you guys how this works. So let's peel off the tracing paper. All right. This may take some time, but this is why you want to spray your surface very lightly. Let's just see how it looks. Now you may find that your tissue paper may not behave like you think it should, because sometimes you get some folds and some creases. You may have to stretch it out just a little bit. Just kind of finesse it with your fingers so that it will flatten out, so that it will take the shape of where you're trying to cut it. I think that looks pretty cool. All right, let's see how this works. And also remember, tissue paper is very translucent. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to apply the gel medium with my finger. And like I said before, don't worry about getting it on your surface. It dries clear and it is paintable. Let's wipe off my hand. This rag. All right, let's apply the piece to the paper or to the surface. This may take more time than you think. It's like I said, tissue paper is very delicate. And you may have some creases here and there. But I think that looks pretty good. Now, the great thing about this is that you can overlap it. You can paint over the edges, and it's going to look great. Now, let's see our other piece, see how that turns out. Now, we're more than likely going to have these line marks show through because, like I said, the tissue paper is very translucent or transparent, but that's okay. Let's just see how it works out. All right, this came off a little bit more easier. I'm just going to use my finger again. You don't have to use much with tissue paper because it's very light. And voila. Now that looks pretty good. Very interesting. And if you have some ends that come up, like in this corner, just rub it very lightly with some gel medium on the edge. All right. So we're going to continue this process. I'll mix it up with different materials and we'll see how it goes. Whew. Okay, so that was a lot of work. We finally got all the sections done in the face, which I'm happy with. But I'm definitely going to have to go back in with a fine brush and clean up those black lines. We're going to start taking care of the background. Now, I'm not sure how I'm going to handle that yet, so I'm going to take another break. You guys know me. I love taking my breaks, so we're going to take another break. I'm going to think about this some more, and I got to figure out how I'm going to handle this background because I'm not quite sure how that's going to look like yet, but we'll see. So let's come back in a few and we'll get started again. Okay, so we are back from our break, and I do believe I have a solution for the background. I'm just going to start with some white. I'm going to block out some areas. I'm not going to cover all of the gray, but I'm just going to take our roller here. Maybe I'll use this one, and I'm just going to block out some areas. So all I'm using is some regular house paint. It's a little bit watery, and I'm not going to totally cover the gray, but just enough. All right, so it has like this little bit of a distressed look, which I like. I'll let some of that gray show through. Okay, folks, I think we are done here. I really enjoyed this piece. I think it came out fabulous. Let me show you. Right? I think the white background turned out nice. It's not like a stark white. You can still see the gray popping through. But I think we worked out all the problems and all the details, so I'm happy with it. And I hope you guys are happy with it too. If you like this video, please like, comment, and share. And don't forget to subscribe. I love you all. Yahweh bless. Go out there, create something, and I will talk to you again soon. Peace out.